In 2002, atop the snowy peaks of Salt Lake City, Canadian snowboarder Ryan Wedding stood as an Olympian, living a dream built on years of sacrifice and relentless training. For Ryan, the journey to the Olympics was not just about athletic achievement, but about overcoming obstacles, pushing through injuries, and dedicating countless hours to perfecting his craft. Every early morning on the mountain, every fall, and every triumph had led him to this moment beneath the Olympic rings. He raced the parallel giant slalom, embodying the spirit of competition and national pride. Each turn down the icy course was a testament to his resilience and the unwavering support of his family, coaches, and country. The world watched as he carved his way through the gates, representing not just himself, but the hopes of a nation. Though he finished 24th, the honor of representing Canada was a monumental achievement. For many, simply reaching the Olympics is a victory in itself, a symbol of years of dedication and the realization of a childhood dream. For Wedding, snowboarding was more than a sport. It was his identity, his purpose. The mountains were his sanctuary, the board an extension of himself. Every challenge on the slopes shaped his character and fueled his ambition. The world saw a promising athlete, a symbol of dedication and possibility. He inspired young athletes across Canada, showing them that with enough determination, even the loftiest dreams could be reached. But the Olympic summit was not the end of his story, it was the turning point. The applause faded, and the spotlight shifted, leaving Ryan at a crossroads, searching for purpose beyond the finish line. No one could have predicted that the discipline and drive that took him to the Games would soon fuel a descent into darkness. The same intensity that made him a champion would become his greatest challenge. The man who once chased medals would soon be running from the law. The mountains that once brought him glory would become the backdrop for a very different kind of pursuit. His journey from celebrated athlete to criminal mastermind would be as swift and dramatic as any run down the slopes. The world would watch in disbelief as his story took a shocking turn. This is the story of Ryan Wedding, a fall from grace that would shock the world. His name, once synonymous with hope and inspiration, would become a cautionary tale. The legacy he left behind would be written not in gold, but in crime. The world would remember not just the athlete, but the man who lost his way. The transition from Olympic glory to the realities of everyday life is rarely smooth, and for many athletes, the end of a career can feel like stepping off a cliff. The cheers fade, the spotlight dims, and the sense of purpose that once defined every waking moment begins to slip away. For Ryan Wedding, the adjustment was especially jarring. The structure and discipline of training were gone, replaced by a quiet that felt almost suffocating. He wandered through days that seemed to stretch endlessly, searching for a new identity. After 2002, Wedding's career faded, and the adrenaline of competition was replaced by restlessness. The medals and memories offered little comfort as he struggled to find meaning beyond the track. By 2006, his name surfaced in connection with a marijuana operation in British Columbia, a hint of trouble ahead. The world he once knew was slipping away, and new darker opportunities began to present themselves. Though not charged, it marked a shift. The Olympian was drifting into criminal circles, drawn by the promise of excitement and easy money. The thrill of racing was replaced by the risks of the drug trade. The stakes were higher, the rewards tempting, and the dangers ever-present. In 2010, Wedding was caught in a U.S. sting, attempting to buy a large quantity of cocaine. The fall from grace was swift and public. Convicted of drug trafficking, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. The man who once wore a national jersey now wore prison blues. The fall was now official, his Olympic past replaced by a criminal record. Headlines that once celebrated his victories now chronicled his downfall. For some, prison is a wake-up call. For Wedding, it was a classroom. He learned the rules of a new game, one far more dangerous than any he'd played before. He emerged not reformed, but emboldened, with new connections and bigger ambitions. The time behind bars had only sharpened his resolve. The discipline once used for sport was now fueling a deeper commitment to crime. Every lesson from his athletic past was repurposed for a new, illicit pursuit. Upon release, he didn't seek redemption. He sought power. The world of organized crime offered a new arena, and he was determined to win. His first conviction was just the prelude. The story of Ryan Wedding was only beginning to unfold. The next chapter would see him rise far beyond petty crime, stepping into a world where the stakes and the consequences were global. Ryan Wedding was about to become a major player in the global drug trade, leaving behind the world of sport for a far more dangerous game. Out of prison, Wedding didn't hide. He built an empire. Adopting aliases like El Jefe and Giant, he transformed into a kingpin, forging alliances with Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. No longer a small-time trafficker, he orchestrated a vast network moving tons of cocaine across continents. U.S. authorities called his organization one of the most prolific and violent in the world. With the Sinaloa cartel's backing, Wedding gained access to smuggling routes, enforcers, and Colombian suppliers. He sat atop a complex web of suppliers, transporters, and launderers, ruling with ruthless efficiency. Loyalty was demanded, betrayal was punished. The former Olympian was now a global fugitive, rivaling the likes of Escobar and El Chapo. His ambition had found a new, terrifying outlet. The world would soon feel the consequences. Wedding's empire ran on a meticulously engineered cocaine pipeline. High-purity cocaine flowed from Colombia, through Central America and Mexico, into the U.S., and finally to Canada. The Sinaloa cartel's infrastructure ensured safe passage and massive profits. Hundreds of kilograms crossed borders at a time, generating over $1 billion annually. Operation Giant Slalom, the law enforcement response, seized thousands of kilos, millions in assets, and high-powered weapons. Violence and intimidation protected the flow. Bribes, threats, and bloodshed were the cost of doing business. Money was laundered through shell companies, making the network nearly untouchable. Wedding had built not just a drug route, but a criminal corporation with global reach. The scale was staggering, the ruthlessness, absolute. His rise was complete, his empire, formidable. In January 2024, violence struck in Medellin, Colombia. Jonathan Acevedo Garcia, a former associate turned witness, was gunned down in a restaurant. U.S. authorities allege Wedding orchestrated the hit to silence a key witness. The murder was a chilling message. Betrayal would be met with death. This act elevated Wedding from kingpin to alleged murderer, accused of witness tampering by murder. The killing was calculated, a move to dismantle the case against him and instill fear. It showed Wedding's reach. Even as a fugitive, he could command deadly force across continents. The murder became the centerpiece of the investigation, transforming it into a high-stakes international manhunt. The Olympian's legacy was now one of violence and terror. No line was too far to cross. The world took notice. The plot to kill Acevedo Garcia revealed a web of betrayal. Authorities allege Canadian lawyer Deepak Paradkar advised Wedding, "If you kill this witness, the case will be dismissed." Paradkar's arrest shocked the legal world, exposing corruption at the heart of the defense. Montreal's Atna Anha was also charged, accused of helping coordinate the hit in Colombia. The conspiracy spanned continents, legal offices in Ontario, hitmen in South America, and orders from a fugitive kingpin. A dozen arrests followed, including 7 Canadians, as authorities closed in on Wedding's inner circle. The investigation peeled back layers of greed, loyalty, and fear. The organization's reach was deep, its methods ruthless. Even trusted professionals were drawn into the darkness. The net was tightening. Operation Giant Slalom became a global pursuit. The FBI, DEA, and police in Canada and Colombia joined forces to dismantle Wedding's empire. The U.S. State Department raised the reward for his capture to $15 million, putting him among the world's most wanted. Sanctions froze assets and cut off financial lifelines, aiming to cripple the organization. Law enforcement vowed, "We are coming for you. You will be held to justice." The manhunt was relentless, the pressure mounting. Every angle was attacked: money, manpower, and public exposure. Wedding's days as a fugitive were numbered. The finish line was no longer a medal stand, but a prison cell. The world watched as the chase intensified. The race was on. The stakes: justice or continued chaos. The outcome would echo far beyond the slopes. Ryan Wedding's transformation stunned the world. FBI Director Kash Patel called him a modern-day Escobar, a modern-day El Chapo. The scale and brutality of his alleged crimes placed him among history's most feared drug lords. Wedding's empire moved tons of cocaine, generated billions, and enforced its will with violence. Even as a fugitive, he was accused of ordering murders, protected by the Sinaloa cartel. The case became global news. A fallen Olympian turned international fugitive. Authorities used the spotlight to isolate him and encourage tips. The public pressure was part of the strategy. The world was watching, waiting for justice. The legend of Ryan Wedding was now a cautionary tale. Ryan Wedding's story is a warning about the dangers lurking after the spotlight fades. Once celebrated for his athletic prowess, he became a symbol of how quickly fortunes can change when the world stops watching. The journey from glory to infamy is often paved with choices made in the shadows, far from the cheering crowds. His journey from Olympic hopeful to most wanted fugitive exposes the dark side of ambition and risk. The same drive that pushes athletes to greatness can, without guidance, lead them down dangerous paths. Wedding's fall from grace is a stark reminder that the pursuit of success can sometimes come at a devastating personal cost. The case highlights the need for support as athletes transition to new lives, and the perils when that support fails. Many struggle with identity and purpose after the games are over, facing challenges that few outsiders truly understand. Without a safety net, even the brightest stars can lose their way. Operation Giant Slalom shows the power of international cooperation against global crime. Agencies from around the world joined forces, sharing intelligence and resources, determined to bring Wedding to justice. Their collaboration is a testament to what can be achieved when borders do not limit the pursuit of the law. The pursuit of Wedding is a test of justice, integrity, and the reach of law. It challenges the very systems meant to protect society, forcing them to adapt and respond to new threats. Each step in the investigation is a measure of how far justice will go to uphold its principles. His capture would be a victory, his freedom, a challenge to law enforcement everywhere. The outcome will echo far beyond one man, shaping how future fugitives are pursued and how justice is served in a globalized world. The legacy he leaves is one of transformation, talent twisted into destruction. What began as a story of hope and promise has become a cautionary tale, a reminder that greatness can be lost in a moment of weakness. As of November 2025, he remains at large, a ghost from the Olympics haunting the world. His name lingers in headlines and whispers, a symbol of both lost potential and the relentless pursuit of justice. The final chapter is unwritten. Will it end in betrayal, violence, or justice? The world watches and waits, uncertain of how this extraordinary story will conclude. The race that began on snowy slopes now ends in the shadows of crime, leaving us to wonder if redemption is still possible, or if the legacy of Ryan Wedding will forever be marked by the choices he made after the spotlight faded.